The power of absence. Understanding a woman's emotional response in modern dating. Listen closely, because grasping what a woman truly feels when you pull back or become less available is one of the most powerful tools any man can wield in today's dating landscape. Most men have zero clue about the emotional ripple effect their absence creates in her mind and heart. Instead, they react impulsively, over-investing, chasing, flooding her with messages, which instantly kills attraction and tanks your perceived value in her eyes. The hard truth: when you create intentional or natural distance, you shift the entire dynamic. Your absence triggers emotions, reflections, and realizations that no amount of words, attention, or effort could ever force. Women notice when a man who once provided steady attention, support, and energy suddenly isn't there the same way. She starts questioning what you actually bring to her life, whether she truly misses you, and how much she's been taking your efforts for granted. This isn't manipulation, it's raw psychology in motion. A man who understands this can protect his energy, hold his frame, and spark genuine attraction without trying to control or pressure her. Modern dating rewards men who move with awareness, presence, and restraint. Absence brings clarity, elevates your perceived value, and gives her space to process her feelings authentically. On relationship psychology, we're diving deep into the 7 key emotional responses women experience when you're absent, why they matter, and how to use this knowledge to navigate relationships with unshakable confidence and strategy. Mastering these dynamics lets you become the man who commands respect, sustains attraction, and avoids emotional burnout. Drop "I choose absence" in the comments if you're ready to stop chasing and start leading. Let's get into it. She reflects on your true value. When you pull back and reduce your availability, a woman naturally begins reflecting on your actual worth in her life. This is a built-in psychological response. She notices what she once took for granted: your attention, your energy, your consistency, your presence. Most men miss this because they fixate only on surface reactions like her frustration or incoming texts. What really matters is what she's processing internally. She starts asking questions she never bothered with when you were always around. How much do I actually miss him? How important is he to me? Could I easily replace someone like him? This inner reevaluation often reignites desire, especially if she had grown complacent. When a man withdraws without drama or over-explaining, he forces the relationship into a new frame where her thoughts and feelings center more on him. The key is consistent, calm absence. She might feel longing, craving, even a touch of guilt, but your steady distance lets her experience those emotions authentically. Men frequently sabotage this by overcompensating the moment they sense subtle shifts. More texts, more calls, trying to fill the emotional space they deliberately created. That kills the effect. The core psychological principle here is scarcity increases perceived value. Your limited presence makes her confront how much she actually relies on your attention and energy for emotional satisfaction. She processes this privately, and it frequently leads to a deeper appreciation of your role in her life. She starts seeing your qualities more clearly: your confidence, stability, leadership, because absence highlights what constant presence once hid. At the same time, she begins comparing potential alternatives, consciously or subconsciously, against the standard you've already set with your prior presence and current restraint. That's why a man who truly understands female psychology knows the power of stepping back without panic or reactive chasing. He doesn't seek validation, he doesn't beg or demand attention. He lets her reflect, process, and if the connection is real, she realizes she values him more than she admitted before. Your absence becomes a mirror showing her what life feels like without your influence, your guidance, your emotional consistency. This reflection is one of the strongest triggers for attraction and desire because it forces awareness, emotional investment, and introspection, all elements that deepen connection when handled correctly. She feels your confidence. When you create distance and become less available, one of the most powerful emotions a woman experiences is the recognition of your confidence. Men often underestimate how much self-assurance communicates value without saying a word. By not over-investing, not double texting, not chasing, you demonstrate that your life doesn't revolve around her attention or approval. This absence sends a subtle but thunderous message: you're secure, independent, and in control of your own world. Women are instinctively drawn to confidence because it signals stability and emotional strength. When she notices you're not constantly available or emotionally dependent on her, she starts feeling the magnetic pull of curiosity and desire. Your calm distance challenges her assumptions, forcing her to see you as detached and self-sufficient rather than someone easily taken for granted. This creates productive tension that awakens deeper emotional engagement. Many men misread this entirely. They interpret reduced contact as disinterest when it's actually proof of strength. Confidence in absence isn't games or manipulation. It's holding your standards, showing restraint, and protecting your emotional energy. Women sense it immediately, often subconsciously. She feels your attention is valuable and must be earned, not assumed. This awareness triggers a quiet psychological shift. Her mind begins evaluating her own behavior, considering her investment in the connection, and reassessing how she's treated you. She starts noticing the qualities that initially drew her in: your stability, autonomy, emotional consistency. When you respond calmly to her messages, stay focused on your own life, and avoid unnecessary explanations, you amplify this effect. Absence paired with composure proves you're neither reactive nor desperate, and that contrast creates intrigue. Your confidence becomes a magnetic force that draws her focus while reinforcing respect for your boundaries. Women notice and respond to unshakable men who have priorities beyond her immediate validation and who live with purpose. By staying confident in your absence, you establish yourself as high value, aware of your worth, communicating through actions rather than words, and allowing her to experience the natural psychological attraction of missing you and appreciating your value. This dynamic is crucial in modern dating because it separates men who lead with clarity and self-respect from those who are overly available and reactive. She questions her own priorities. When a man becomes less available, a woman often starts questioning her own priorities. Your absence forces her to examine the space you occupy in her life, the effort she's invested, and whether she truly values the connection. Many women operate on autopilot, taking your presence for granted as part of their routine. Pulling back disrupts that pattern. Suddenly, she notices you're not always responding, not showing up on demand, not providing instant validation. This triggers internal questions. How important is he to me? Am I investing enough energy here? Do I actually miss him when he's not around? Men frequently underestimate this self-reflection because they assume women aren't affected by distance. In reality, absence creates cognitive space for her to reevaluate her feelings, recognize patterns, and confront any complacency. The emotional process can mix curiosity, longing, and even mild anxiety. She may feel the absence as a void she can't easily fill, prompting deeper reflection on her emotional attachment. The key for men is to maintain calm consistency and avoid reacting to every test or emotional ping. By not overinvesting to regain attention, you give her room to process authentically. Many women, faced with this emotional gap, start noticing small details they previously overlooked. Your support, your humor, your reliability, the subtle ways you enrich her life. This cognitive and emotional recalibration often strengthens attraction because she begins valuing qualities she once normalized. It also highlights what she might be missing compared to other options or her current lifestyle. Men who keep acting like nothing's changed miss the chance to deepen attraction and respect. The goal isn't manipulation, it's creating an environment where her emotions and thoughts naturally center on the connection, giving her space to realize the value you bring. Distance encourages honesty, introspection, and acknowledgement of your importance without you saying a word. When a woman starts questioning her priorities, it often leads to a stronger desire to align with you emotionally and mentally, not superficially or out of convenience. Understanding this psychological response lets men handle absence strategically, fostering deeper connection, greater respect, and natural attraction toward emotional investment. Absence becomes a tool for clarity, reflection, and reinforcing your value in her life. She feels subtle anxiety. When you pull back and reduce availability, a woman often experiences subtle anxiety, not full panic or desperation, but a quiet unease that emerges when she realizes your presence isn't guaranteed. Men tend to misinterpret this as negative, when it's actually proof your absence is landing emotionally. The anxiety stems from uncertainty. She notices the shift in your behavior, and her mind starts filling in the blanks. Is he upset? Is he losing interest? Could he walk away completely? This mental processing sharpens her awareness of the connection and brings her emotions into clearer focus. Men overthink here, trying to reassure her or quickly restore constant contact. That behavior weakens the effect, signaling your attention is easily regained and boundaries are negotiable. Real impact comes from calm, measured distance. When you hold composure, keep pursuing your own goals, and don't overreact to her subtle anxiety, you demonstrate stability, self-respect, and confidence. She begins realizing your presence is valuable and that her actions influence the dynamic. Absence creates contrast between her routine expectation of attention and the reality of limited access. That contrast naturally triggers reflection, attraction, and even desire. Women are wired to notice changes in a man's behavior, especially when it affects their emotional environment. Subtle anxiety is her mind and emotions processing that you're not always available and that she must reassess how much she values the connection. It's a mental and emotional wake-up that can work in your favor if handled right. Responding with calm rather than overcompensation communicates you're high value, grounded, and not dependent on constant validation. This builds respect and attraction. Many men don't realize this anxiety isn't her weakness. It's a natural response to your absence and the space you've created. It signals engagement, attention, and recognition of your worth. By staying consistent, focused, and composed, you allow these emotions to develop organically, deepening her awareness of your value. Subtle anxiety paired with your unbreakable boundaries strengthens the dynamic, heightens desire, and positions you as a man who commands attention through presence, self-respect, and strategic absence rather than need or over-availability. Your energy is what she misses. When you step back and become less present, a woman starts noticing the absence of your unique energy in her life. Energy isn't just physical presence, it's how you make her feel, the confidence you radiate, the laughter, stability, and engagement you bring to her world. Men often underestimate this because they think attention alone is enough. But your distinct energy, the blend of personality, confidence, and emotional consistency is what she truly values. When it's gone, she feels a void. This isn't mind games or manipulation, it's natural psychology. She begins comparing her current emotional experience without you to what she felt when you were fully present. That comparison often sparks longing, reflection, and recognition of your impact. Men frequently misread this stage, assuming silence or reduced contact means disinterest. In reality, it's the opposite. Your absence amplifies awareness of your value. She might find herself thinking about conversations you had, the comfort you provided, or how you challenged her in ways others can't. This reflection strengthens emotional attachment, provided you don't sabotage it with overcompensation. Many men rush to fill the void the moment they sense longing, texting more, calling, trying to restore attention. That destroys the effect because it removes the contrast between presence and absence and eliminates the psychological space she needs to genuinely miss you. The key is calm, assured boundaries while staying focused on your own life, goals, and priorities. Your energy lingers even in absence because she remembers what it's like when you're fully engaged. This absence lets her experience the emotional, mental, and even social value you add, creating attraction words alone can't achieve. Modern dating rewards men who understand presence and absence as complementary forces. By stepping back strategically, you allow her to recognize your unique contributions without you pointing them out. She experiences subtle longing and appreciation that naturally boosts attraction. Your missing energy becomes a psychological trigger that reinforces your importance and reminds her connections with you are meaningful and rare. Handled correctly, this dynamic heightens her desire to engage authentically and with renewed respect, deepening emotional bond and solidifying the value you bring to the relationship. Absence combined with consistent personal confidence makes your energy unforgettable. She experiences emotional pull. When a man becomes less available, a woman often starts feeling an emotional pull toward him that she might not have noticed before. This is a natural response to absence and contrast. When you're always present, constantly offering attention and emotional support, it's easy for her to become complacent or take you for granted. Your absence, even temporary, creates a void that triggers deeper emotional engagement. She begins thinking about your qualities, your presence, and the ways you made her feel, and that reflection produces subtle emotional tension. Men often fail to recognize this dynamic because they confuse silence with disinterest, assuming if she doesn't reach out immediately, she doesn't care. The truth is, emotional pull often happens internally and may not show outwardly at first. Her mind starts processing your absence, recalling shared experiences, the excitement you brought, the emotional stability you provide. This inner tug can create curiosity, longing, and even a sense of urgency as she considers your role in her life. Men undermine this effect by overthinking, sending multiple messages, calling repeatedly, seeking reassurance. Overcompensation breaks the natural tension absence creates and reduces the impact of emotional pull. The correct approach is calm detachment. Stay focused on your own life while letting her experience the natural consequences of your absence. Emotional pull is strongest when she has space to reflect, recognize your value, and feel the contrast between presence and absence. It's not manipulation. It's allowing natural psychological processes to strengthen attraction and desire. Handled correctly, this tug builds respect, deepens attachment, and heightens awareness of the qualities that set you apart. A woman feels this pull more intensely when she sees your life isn't on hold for her validation, that your attention is earned rather than automatic, and that your emotional energy is finite. By stepping back without drama, you create an environment where she gravitates emotionally toward you, reflecting on what she truly values and desires. This dynamic ensures attraction isn't one-sided. Respect is maintained, and your absence becomes a catalyst for deeper emotional investment and authentic desire in her mind, solidifying your position as a high-value man in the modern dating landscape. Conclusion: the silent power of absence. Understanding what a woman feels during your absence is one of the most potent tools a man can use in modern dating. Absence isn't about manipulation or games, it's about creating space for reflection, emotional awareness, and authentic attraction. When you pull back, she notices the silence, reflects on your value, feels your confidence, questions her priorities, experiences subtle anxiety, misses your energy, and feels a stronger emotional pull. Each of these responses is a natural psychological reaction that elevates your worth and strengthens the connection. Many men fail because they overthink, react impulsively, or chase validation. They interpret her reflection or longing as disinterest or loss of control. In reality, these feelings are signs your absence is landing. A high-value man understands that calm, consistent distance, paired with focus on his own life, amplifies attraction and respect. He doesn't need to chase. He lets the natural process highlight his importance and sustain emotional tension. The core message: absence magnifies value. It forces a woman to notice, reflect, and engage emotionally. It builds attraction without drama, reinforces respect, and encourages genuine connection. By strategically creating space while holding composure, you command attention, preserve confidence, and allow her to process her emotions authentically. That's how men lead in modern dating. How they maintain strength and cultivate reciprocal, emotionally rich relationships aligned with their values. Step back, observe, and let absence do the work. It's a silent but devastatingly powerful force that transforms connection, desire, and respect.